Hey guys, this is Lab 1A, VMware Player Installation and Configuration. This is a very important component to this course, completing it successfully, and the reason being is we do not want to work with some of these tools and operating systems in a live environment, but rather within this virtualized environment. Virtualized meaning it's a VMware machine that's running on top of our host computer being our physical laptop, our physical desktop. The host system, that's the hardware, the foundation that allows these virtual machines to run. We will do installations here of the VMware Player. We'll walk through the basic configuration of VMware Player, and we will also discuss where we're going to get our guest operating systems from and how we will manage each of those guest operating systems. Basically, if you open up a web browser and you do a search for VMware Player download, you will see here a link that will take you to VMware's product page. Now there's Windows Hypervisor. There's different options out there. VMware Player is a free tool to use. Therefore, we're going to use it as our product for this class because it provides us the functionality we need, and it should work with everyone's system as a whole. If you look here, we have a downloads link, free product download. You'll see Player listed here. You can also just scroll to the bottom, see a VMware Player download product. We'll give you some options here. So you have VMware Player 94 meg in size. This is going to give you some checksums if you want to verify that you are downloading the correct bit of binary as it makes it to your system. Make sure it hasn't been altered or changed or anything of that nature. When you're downloading VMware Player, Adobe Acrobat, any of those tools, always try to go to the product vendor's site when you're actually downloading it. This is the actual exe that we're going to get, and you'll also see that this is version 6.0.3. This is where we are at this point in time. This may change with the class. We may see 6.04, 6.05, who knows, there might even be on VMware Player 7 at some point as you're watching this. Not a problem. Just you want to grab the latest version, place that on your system. You also see that there's a Linux 32-bit and a Linux 64-bit that you can also download as well. This Windows 1, is just going to work on either a 32-bit or 64-bit OS. Simply click the download link. You'll see that it's starting to download. I'm going to go ahead and pause and let this finish, and we'll finish setting it up. So once the download is complete, depending on your browser, Chrome is going to display it in this manner. It'll show in folder, and the basic default location on your system will probably be your downloads directory. You may make it your desktop, whatever it is, but just go find this download file, and once it's on your system, we're basically going to double click and install. Your first window you're going to come to is basically just informing you, hey, we're going to install VMware Player. You can hit next, read through the license terms and agreements, hit accept the license and agreement if you agree to it all. You can just click the checkbox and hit next if you prefer. Now this is your destination folder. It's basically where do you want the application files to be installed. Default location works for me. I'm going to hit OK. And where do you want shortcuts to be created so that you can open and access VMware Player? Ready to perform the requested operations, click continue. Now we're going to go through the install. This could take a couple minutes here. Let me pause and I will resume once we're done. Alright, once your installation is complete, you're going to end here at your VMware Player window, and this gives you your basic interface into your library, which is going to be over here on the left hand side of VMs that you may have created. Here you can create a new virtual machine, open virtual machines, upgrade to workstation. Workstation adds some pretty powerful features, snapshots and tool integrations and such, which is kind of fun. Now that's a paid version, so if you go that route, be prepared, you're going to pay a little bit of money to get it. And you can also have the ability to, when you have virtual machines existing over here in your library, which we will by the end of Lab 1, you'll see Edit Virtual Machine Settings, and this gives you the ability to change some of the basic configuration of your virtual machine. In other words, when I start this virtual machine up, how much of my host system, my actual physical desktop or laptop resources, will this guy get a hold of and have available to it to use? So if you have, say, 2 gigs of memory and you give this guy half a gig or 1 gig of memory, you have that much used and allocated towards this VM that you don't have available for your host machine. Okay, keep that in mind. It'll help you as you get your settings set up. Different options as well, as far as what you're going to name it, the type of operating system that's available to it, where the actual working directories are, and etc., etc., etc. Now keep in mind, each VM that you actually spin up and you place over there to use, understand that these require licenses in order for them to work. And what I mean by that is, if you have a Windows 8 VM that you've created, you're going to have to license that Windows 8 VM with a Windows 8 license key. You don't want to go through piracy or committing software fraud, as there's a big penalty for that. So be conscious of what you're putting over here, and you have to have licenses available to have them installed and to use them. Now, a really cool feature of being a student here at CSM is the access to the Microsoft-based softwares, and a lot of students aren't aware of this all the time. Now, if you've taken a few of my courses, you're probably getting familiar with it now, but csmd.edu/BAT for the Business and Technology Department, MSDNAA, which stands for Microsoft Developer Network Academic Alliance. This is pretty cool. You come over here and you can register and log in. Read these instructions carefully. When you click here to register, you will create a username, password through this registration process, or log in if you already have it available to you. And you will have access to a lot of Microsoft-based softwares, which is really cool. We'll be using some of those. Once we have our VMware system set up here, you can see that I have a VM accessed, and I select this player menu. At this point, I can go through and open a new virtual, create a new virtual, open a virtual. I can manage this particular virtual, such as power him on if I wanted to use it, full screen if I want to expand this window out, or come back over here to manage and edit my virtual machine settings. Now that's the same as this link here, just as the power on link is the same as this play virtual machine option here. Exit if you want to close out of VMware. The one setting that a lot of students have a lot of questions about, and this is extremely important, you will be working with this setting a lot during our course, is you select a VM and you go to this network adapter. Now you can have the actual virtual machine in a bridged setting, meaning that it's going to be connected directly with your physical network. You can select this NAT setting, which is basically an option to share the host IP address, the host being, again, your physical machine. Or you can do a host only, which is a private network. That private network, the host only setting, is what we will be using a lot when we move through our labs. It allows you to take 2 virtual machines, you place them both in a host setting, and now those 2 virtual machines can speak with one another. But their traffic is not going to expand outside to your physical system. It's not going to expand outside to the public network, such as the internet. Very important settings. We will walk through how to set this up and how to get that going prior to each and every lab that we do. We are also going to see, as we install virtual machines, something called VMware Tools. And VMware Tools is a pretty powerful piece that allows us to have a virtual machine spun up in front of us and then drag and drop folders and files from our physical system over into this virtual machine, and it'll copy them directly to that virtual machine for you. We will be working through those settings as well as we get there. Enough of the introduction. Let's go ahead and get ourselves prepped for Lab 1B, which is basically attack system import.